Shame is one of the deepest and most painful emotions because it does not simply tell a person that something went wrong. It can make them believe that something is wrong with who they are. Guilt focuses on behavior, while shame often attacks identity. A person may think they made a mistake and gradually transform that mistake into a belief that they are a mistake. The hidden roots of shame often develop through criticism, humiliation, rejection, emotional neglect, comparison, bullying, betrayal, unrealistic expectations, or environments where acceptance feels conditional. When a person repeatedly receives the message that certain emotions, weaknesses, needs, appearances, or behaviors make them unacceptable, they may begin hiding those parts of themselves. Shame teaches the mind that being seen is dangerous. The person becomes highly conscious of how others perceive them and may constantly monitor their appearance, words, choices, achievements, and emotional reactions. They may avoid attention, intimacy, vulnerability, or situations where their imperfections could become visible. Sometimes shame hides behind perfectionism because the person believes flawless performance will prevent exposure. Sometimes it hides behind arrogance because superiority provides temporary protection against feelings of inadequacy. Sometimes it appears as people-pleasing because being useful becomes a strategy for earning acceptance. Shame can therefore remain invisible while influencing countless decisions beneath conscious awareness. The person may not realize that many of their choices are organized around one fundamental fear: being discovered as fundamentally unworthy. The deeper psychology of shame involves a conflict between the authentic self and the self a person believes they must present to remain accepted. When shame becomes deeply established, the individual may create a carefully managed identity designed to conceal perceived flaws. They may become extremely sensitive to criticism because criticism threatens to expose what they already fear about themselves. They may withdraw after making mistakes because disappearing feels safer than being seen imperfectly. This creates isolation because genuine intimacy requires the ability to be known beyond a carefully controlled image. Shame says that if people truly knew everything about you, they would reject you. Healing begins by separating identity from behavior and allowing imperfections to exist without turning them into evidence of worthlessness. A mistake can be acknowledged without becoming a permanent definition. A painful experience can be remembered without becoming a secret identity. Vulnerability can gradually challenge the belief that being seen inevitably leads to rejection. This does not mean revealing everything to everyone. Healthy vulnerability requires discernment, safety, and trustworthy relationships. It means allowing appropriate people to see parts of yourself that you once believed had to remain hidden. Shame weakens when secrecy is replaced by understanding, and self-punishment is replaced by accountability. The deepest psychological freedom comes when a person realizes that being imperfect does not make them undeserving of love, respect, or belonging. You can regret something without hating yourself. You can recognize weaknesses without believing you are weak in every way. You can receive criticism without surrendering your entire identity to it. You can be rejected by someone without concluding that you are inherently unworthy of connection. Shame loses its power when the mind no longer requires perfection as the price of belonging. The goal is not to become someone who has nothing to hide, because human beings are complex and private. The goal is to stop hiding from yourself. When you can look honestly at your history, your mistakes, your wounds, and your imperfections without turning away in disgust, shame begins to transform into self-understanding, and self-understanding creates the possibility of genuine change.